Hey, what's up, everybody? So, I did something I shouldn't have done. I changed two things to find out if the stream is going to work. So, for those of you who didn't read the description but have been watching the streams lately, I've been having issues with connectivity. So, I did some research, but one of the things I wanted to do to find out where the problem was stream up here on my work computer just to see if it's something with the basement computer or the lines going to the stream in the basement, the coax cable, which I don't think it would be that because it's all good coax cable and there's no reason it should be. But I also changed a number of settings. So the stream is going really well right now. So all through that intro, it's the best it's been in a while. So on next Tuesday, I'll take these settings, put them on the basement computer, and stream down there again. So that should give me the idea of where the issues have been. I really want to get it worked out before the next stream with party size. It really annoys me to have a friend on or a guest on and then the stream not work out. That's like, if I waste my own time, that's one thing. If I waste their time, that makes me bumps me out. And yeah, I think Dimitri said bit rate. So yes, I used a I lowered OBS. What I stream through automatically sets it if you let it, but apparently it's kind of setting it at the high end. And then there's also a box that lets it float, so it's not always trying to push the high bit rate. I don't understand it. I'm not going to lie to you. I figured it out using AI. I couldn't Google it and find the answer, and I got it through Gemini, unfortunately. So, yeah. Anyways, if you guys are an OG around here, you recognize that I used to stream upstairs during the pandemic, and I also used to stream on Thursdays. So definitely during the winters. During the winters, the two main pandemic winters, I would stream twice a week. Tuesdays at 9 or then 8 in the winter we used to do. We didn't used to do 9 in the winter. I've kept it at 9 this year because that's what works for party size. So, but I'm actually not in the same room that we used to stream in upstairs. I have all the same kind of stuff around, but this studio has two storefronts and I used to stream on the other side, which also leaves me to the next thing. If you guys want to see the place, we're going to have a channel meetup ride that we've done the last few years on March 21st. I think we'll probably roll out from here a little after 3, ride down to Dirty River. They close at 4, so Ben and anyone who gets off wants to ride can. And then I don't have the route planned yet, but we usually do something. It's a no drop ride, but we try and hit some of the cool industrial gravel around here. So put that on your calendar. Also, March 20th, the day before the Friday, some of my cycling friends are going to have an art display here too. So we're going to do like an art opening, and I'm going to have my camera stuff out, and I'm going to have film sales and some little merch sales. So the other side of what I do, the analog photography type side. So I've got my cycling hobby side, my analog photography side, and then my actual business is commercial digital photography. So yeah, if you guys want to mark that down, anyone who's interested in coming around. But yeah, it's weird to be back up here and chatting up here. I always remember that when I first start talking, I always got nervous up here because I feel like my tenants can hear me in the apartments above. The basement was so like more comfortable when I moved down there with all my bike stuff. So also back when I used to stream up here, I would try something different almost every week. Yeah, I just remember always experimenting with different mics, different cameras. So up here right now, I'm using the same mic and camera that I use in the basement, just obviously different lighting and all that. I have a key light pointed at me from up there, and then just the normal lights on in the background. So anyways, that's what's going on. That's why I'm up here. I'm going to take a look at the chat. I haven't really yet. It's just started rambling. So I don't have it. I did not set it up on this Mac to pull up your comments like I usually do when I'm talking about it. One of the things I actually just kind of forgot to do. I think I got most of the other stuff set up. But yeah, it's interesting I'm a lifelong PC user, but I switched to Mac for working because the M chips are just, the PC cannot compare anymore to price, efficiency, and power and hardware that the Macs have. And I've always been a PC person, still prefer Windows. But it's interesting to switch and like learn how they each have their own strengths because everyone's so divided on what's better. But streaming is way better on a PC. The Mac has glitches, and I looked them up, and they're known. I have to reconnect to YouTube every single time because I did a couple tests, obviously, yesterday. So, yeah, PCs are better streaming machines, just like they're better gaming machines. But when I'm in my apps like Premiere Pro and Photoshop, this Mac Studio here crushes any PC I've ever owned. So, yeah, it's interesting. Not a big fan of Mac OS. Also, the whole thing that Macs just work, I found plenty of times where Macs don't just work. So, yeah. Even in the walled garden, even in their little walled garden where they're supposed to work, um, I had issues that I had to troubleshoot that they have with my iPhone connecting, so whatever. So, anyways. So what's up, Nate the Great? See you in here. Ricky Cool, how's it going? Bruce. So Bruce, I was telling you that in the intro video, I had mounted the GoPro to my top tube with a little extension piece. But in general, when I make my videos now, I'm actually using a mouth mount. Do I have my GoPro right here? I don't. I could grab it in a minute and show it to you. But that day I had mounted the GoPro to the top tube. And if you actually watch the video closely, I'm adjusting it once in a while because you couldn't use it for mountain biking, that thing. It ends up like kind of bending a little bit. So Bubbles Blonde, thanks. Appreciate it. Hey, what's up, Mintmon? Good to see you. Oh yeah, the intro's a nice warm day. Hey Donald, I got the Buffalo bike shirt. Yeah, you sent me World Bicycle Relief on. What's up, Clunky? Dimitri, Bruce, yeah. Edmund. Yeah, Edmund's actually sitting on his tree over here. I'll show him to you in a minute. He was sitting on the chair over here because he really wants to play. Right now he's mad at me. He's facing away because he's like, I want to play and you're not playing with me. He might come over and start meowing at me in a little bit. What's up, William Brown? You're probably old enough to remember, old enough, an OG enough to remember when we used to stream in the upstairs, I think. Chris FYB, what's up? It's always the modem. It could be on the PC. We're going to see. I think these settings might have solved my problems. I'm hoping. So when I transfer those downstairs, hopefully the stream works good down there. Because I do like the looks up here, but like I said, it's just more chill being down there with my bike stuff. Also, yeah, I'm remembering, I stand at my desk when I work. I don't know if you guys have any reason to know that. So I used to stand during the whole live streams as well because I had such back issues. So I don't sit down when I edit anymore. The only time I sit down on a computer is during the basement live streams. So Cat5, yeah, all the cables are the right cables. Ricky, I've gone through all that stuff. Did I try turning it off and turning it back on again? Samuel, when I was trying to get Sam Diaz, when I was trying to get the cable guy out here, they made me go through the whole modem thing. I'm like, yes, I've already tested my modem. But I get it because they talk to, people who are 100 years old who don't know what they're doing. So what's up, Jason? Hey, what's up, Wes? Oh, Ricky, you're only getting me at 480. That's on your side, not my side. My stream's going out at 1080. What YouTube plays the video to you at is your computer, not my computer. Yeah, this stream's set at 1080. It should. Someone let me know if not, but everything should be coming out at 1080. Yeah. What's up, Plove Master? How's it going? Ramble On by Led Zeppelin. Go Linux? Nah, no. I get that they're coming into their own. It seems like Linux, because of Windows 11 and all the AI stuff, I'm only reading about it. My computer downstairs is powerful of an editing machine as it was. It's custom built by a really good company. It doesn't have whatever that thing that you need something on the motherboard to get a Windows 11, and that computer doesn't have it, even though it's like a big old NVIDIA chip and a nice CPU. So I don't have the problems with Windows 11 that people are talking about. I've watched podcasts and listened to them, so I'm running Windows 10, and they gave another year of security updates. I don't know. I think maybe after that year, I'll buy a Mac Mini and put it down there. But yeah, like I said, I'm no fan of Mac OS, but the fact that all my stuff plays together is really nice. Doing Instagram stories or doing even when I want to post to Instagram, like the link to YouTube videos, the fact that I could, Command C on the Mac, and then my iPhone has that copy to the clipboard some of the stuff about Mac OS is like that. I love the continuity camera. Right now I could switch it, and I'll do it in a minute if I want to show Edmund, switch over to the iPhone camera, which will go to this seamlessly. Is it pretty amazing? So, hey, what's up, Bradley? How's it going? Marty, you just said just switch to Linux from Windows. Yeah. Like I said, I guess I don't know. For right now, being stuck on Windows 10, I think is kind of a blessing. Plus, like I said, I don't use that computer for anything really but streaming, so I don't, yeah, have to deal with it for, your day-to-day stuff. Crisp and clear sound, that's good to hear. Yeah, I didn't realize like Linux, people kind of, I just recently, I think, was reading something how people kind of skin it. Am I right? Like is that what Mint is? It's like a version, people make different versions of Linux since it's open source and you can kind of pick the one you want. One of the things, yeah, one of my big things with that is like, and again, like I said, Mac's whole thing is it just works, and that's not always true. And I know Windows backwards and forwards because I started on, I don't know, probably 3.2. So I knew all the iterations. So when a Mac person uses Windows and it seems like it's overwhelming, I've watched the whole thing evolve up until 10. So it doesn't overwhelm me. I know where everything is. Like I have to Google everything on the Mac still. I don't know how many years deep I am in, because I bought an M1 Max after they were already with the M2 chips out on the laptop. And I was running the laptop into a dock, and it was editing video better than my custom built PC was. I couldn't believe it. So just about, I don't know, was it like three? I don't know how old it is, but I have an M4 Max Studio now, and that's what I'm streaming on right now. Now Windows 10, Ricky got, I think it's the European Union sued Microsoft or made a deal with Microsoft, so they're giving us another year of security updates. There was a qualification you had to have to get it, but I can't remember what it was, but I was able to do it. You just had to send an email, basically. Hey, Darren, you dug the Florida footage? Thanks. Yeah. Naptown, you said your Insta account got banned a while back, presumably because it got stolen and you never made a new one. Miss out on a lot. Yeah, I would love to not use any of Zuckerberg's stuff, any meta stuff. I left Facebook, but I'm just not ready to leave Instagram. There's still, I just, man, because like after the video about the rides for Alex Pretty, the Unity rides, so many people were like, "How'd you guys know about these rides?" And I'm like, "Well, it's all over Instagram." My bike shop was hosting one too, but it's still such a man. It's still such a good way to find, like, just to see what's going on. I would love it if we all got off there. But what's up, Ronald? What's up, Bike Bags? What's up, Nongski? How's it going? The weather is not getting better. It's going to be colder this weekend, and we have a chance of another snowstorm. It's brutal. So, Ricky, you started on Windows 98, 64 megabytes of RAM. Yeah. Yeah, way before that. Yeah, 64 megabytes of RAM would have sounded amazing. I'm trying to think of, what did I upgrade my one so I could play Doom 2? I remember buying a RAM module and put it in, but it was definitely in megabytes, not in gigabytes. Windows 95 for life, Aaron. Yeah. I think when 98 came out, it was either 98 or I don't know, they came out with one, like the bubbly looking one. And I remember skinning mine back to 95. Like I had an app on there that did that, so it didn't look like that stupid. I can't remember. I don't know. It's been too long now. I was in high school. I graduated high school in 97. So Bradley, I would say that's outdated. So I agree that Windows is far more intuitive to me, but I grew up with Windows. But to say that Mac is overpriced for the same amount of computing power, that is what was true to me my whole life. I would go in to Best Buy back when you still did that to buy your computer. And I would I'm a photographer, and they'd be like, "Oh, you want a Mac?" And I'm like, "No, this Mac has less power and it costs 5 times more." That's not the case anymore. I mean, yeah, what you get out of the M chips just crushes PC, and for the cost. I can't believe it. Like the Macs are not overpriced anymore. You look at a MacBook Pro or even a MacBook Air with some of the M chips, how well they do. And if you make proxies, and you're going to get all day battery life, and you're going to get an aluminum computer that's going to last for way longer than any PC if you're going laptop. But yeah, I would debate that, and that is something that I've completely believed my whole life. But yeah, I had my yeah, they don't work as good. I see where you said if you build your own PC copying the specs of a Mac, you'll save over $1,000, but you won't get the same performance. The specs may look the same, but the Macs run so much faster with everything integrated on one chip. I'll die on this hill. I've been a PC user my whole life. I've like been anti-Apple. Like I'm still I like say fuck Mac 10 times a day. But when I'm in Premiere or Photoshop, and again, not for gaming. I don't game, so I don't have any perspective on gaming. But when it comes to using powerful editing apps, the M chips crush it for the price. And especially if you're going to use a laptop, because you could get on an airplane and never plug that thing in, and your PC is going to be hot and noisy. And yeah, I know these new rounds of Intel chips are supposed to finally be competing, so we'll see how they do. But then you have to deal with Windows 11 or learn Linux, right? What's up, Greg? Like I said, everyone has specific use cases too. My use case is being in Premiere Pro and being in Photoshop, and the M chips cannot be touched by any PC. And again, I have this giant freaking noisy thing. It's what I stream on, and yeah, it never even came close to my laptop, my Mac laptop, plugged into a dock with tons of dongles, tons of drives. Yeah. Anyways, this is a bike channel still, but again, I'm saying this is a test stream, so it does make sense to talk about this stuff. But yeah. Sean said there's a Linux kernel, and then there are different distros that have their chosen desktop environments and software. So lots of choice. Can be overwhelming to choose one. Sucks that Instagram got bought by Meta. Yeah, that ship sailed so long ago, though, right? Ricky, literally Windows was sending me the messages about what I needed to do, Microsoft about what I needed to do to stay on Windows 10 for another year. So to be honest, I just did it, and I did not internalize what all that stuff was. But there was one way where you had to pay like $100, but there was one thing, God, there was a reason that I didn't. It was, I don't know, I cannot remember. Chris, oh, you're quitting social media altogether. Yeah, I saw that you have been off IG and Facebook. Yeah. I like Blue Sky a lot. It's just old Twitter. It looks exactly like Twitter used to do originally, but there's still not enough people there to make it that I could give up everything else for what I want to be in tuned with. So said Strava and YouTube, Wes, is your only social media. And that's a big reason I like the Discord as well. Discord is really cool because it's closed. There's no algorithm, so it's basically like a message board. So the Discord for the channel is a really good way to stay in touch. And then you could join some other Discords, like Pathless Pedaled is one I'm in, Terry Berenson, Party Sizes. And it's a system where you're not, it's not advertising based or anything. So it's still a way, depending on, but it's all user generated. So it's like, so we have a meetups and rides section, and enough people now post in there that it's close to keeping me in tune with what's going on, but not quite good enough yet. But I will be posting the details on the March group ride, and again, they'll only be on the YouTube channel and in the Discord. That is one thing that I do not post to Instagram because I kind of wanted to. It's hard for me to explain this, and it doesn't matter. But I want it to be like more for the YouTube community, and because I tend to have different groups between the two, and not that friends on Instagram aren't welcome. I just, yeah. Yeah, so there'll definitely be, I'll make posts, and then I'll mention it in a couple of videos on YouTube. But like I said, there's already a whole section in the Discord just for that meetup. So, oh, Mimi, you're 96. Yeah, I graduated Revere in Bath. So. Bruce, you started Windows on Windows 3.1. I found not too long ago, because I've been cleaning the studio, my original, like an original Windows disk when I can't remember what machine I put that on. It was a Tandy, because my computer before that was running like Tandy's OS, whatever that computer was, like a Tandy 8088 or something. But yeah. 3.1 on a 486 processor. So yeah, I had a 486, but that was my second computer. So the Tandy before that was I guess was 8088 the name of their processors, maybe? Yeah. But yeah, I had a 486 and it was a 66 megahertz, and my friend down the street had a 33 megahertz, and that sure seemed to make a huge difference back then. So yeah, yeah, Mac Minis are a steal. Yeah. Aviation said Macs just work. No virus, no crapware. I agree with the no virus, the no crapware. I don't agree with they just work. I've been troubleshooting some stuff on it today. I think like, I don't know. There's certain things I think they both have their strengths. There's certain things on PCs that just work. Like I said, OBS doesn't just work on Mac. It doesn't. I have to. It won't remember the YouTube connection. And I looked it up, and it was like, yep, that's just how it is. Before you stream, reconnect it. You know, PC never does that. But well, that's not nice, unbalanced. My son is in Geek Squad, and he will not touch Apple products. Aaron's a big, Aaron does tons of work all day on computers, and she can't stand when she has to deal with a Mac. But yeah. Apple really makes it hard to use anything else with their stuff. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, some of the stuff does not work as well. There's some things that PCs definitely have their strength for. I stand here all day editing in Premiere and Photoshop. And that's, like I said, that's what matters most to me. That's what I want to just work. Operating systems, I think some of the stuff on the Mac is so stupid because I use like icons or what Windows would call thumbnails. I don't use list view. In Mac, you have to organize it every single time. If you import files with that view, it just puts it in a, like a, what's Jackson Pollock painted it. Like, I'm like, who would ever freaking want that? Like, it's so stupid. Drives me crazy every day of my life. And then when I talk about stuff with Mac, everyone's like, well, download this app, download that app. Like with a PC, you don't need to download apps to make the operating system work the way it should. So, but yeah, like I said, they both drive me crazy though. When I'm downstairs setting up the stream, I get this beep like a piece of hardware is not plugged in on the PC until I plug everything in. I actually have to turn the volume off because it drives me insane. My Mac never does that to me. My Mac never tries to sell me anything except once you get the default set right. So yeah, really I've become someone who has very dual opinions on it. I've always been very anti-Mac, but M4 MBP. MacBook Pro. Okay, yeah. That's how little of a Mac I still am. Yeah. Bradley, that's how I was for a long time. The reason I hated Macs, but I had an iPhone just because so many things I needed to be connected to were Mac or were coming out for iPhone only, iOS. So like my Canon cameras wouldn't connect with an Android or a Windows phone, which I preferred back when those were a thing. I still think that was the best mobile OS of all time. But yeah, so that was super frustrating. That was, yeah. Anyways, so I always had an iPhone, but I still hated Macs. But I basically bought that laptop. It was already technically outdated, but the M2s and M3s were not that huge of an improvement, but it was the top of line M1 Max, new in the box, but like a couple years after it came out, so I got a deal on it. It was like a $5,500 laptop, and I paid like $24 for it. And I was just testing the waters because I'm watching all these people talk about how powerful they are, and I couldn't believe it. So I'm like, I'm going to try it. And I did, and then I was just like I said, blowing my custom-built PC out of the water for video production. And then I got a dock that Dylan recommended, plugged in all the 4K monitors, and like again, Mac OS really drove me crazy. Then now I'm starting to get used to it years later, but yeah, it was just the performance. I couldn't go back. So that's so funny, Naptown. When I started the streams up here, so Naptown said, get Tim out of the basement and away from his bike stuff, and all he talks about are computers. So when the stream started up here, the channel hadn't like pivoted to being completely about bikes yet. I was still talking about my photography business on this channel a lot. And on the other side where the office was, all my cameras were behind me. And so I would pretty much set up the stream and talk about whatever I photographed that week. And Pudgy would be in here. He was like caught like I think even the first stream ever. There would be like 10 or 12 people in here, right? And I would want to talk about my photography stuff, but within like 2 months, people were only asking me about my bikes and my bike rides. And so that's when it pivoted to being a bike YouTube channel. It was over that summer after the pandemic. But yeah, it was a mix. I would talk about bikes. I would talk about cameras, even in the videos, like the hard posts. Where are we at? I totally rambling on about computers. But again, this was supposed to be a test stream, so. Darren, yeah, speak the truth on the Mac versus the PC. Nongski asked, by the way, off topic, bicycle, which kind of I was just bringing up without seeing the question. Bicycles and photography, do you also shoot film? And if so, which camera to use? So I do shoot film. I haven't as much the last couple years, which is crazy because I had for over a decade up until that. It's pretty much because this YouTube channel. So like I said, when the YouTube channel started, I would ride bikes and shoot film, and that's what the videos were about. I even wanted Micah to make me a shirt that said ride bike, shoot film, but never got around to it. But if you ask which camera, man, like I should show, oh, this is the cool thing about being up here. I have all my stuff. I could show a picture of what my camera collection looks like. Because, yeah, Minoltas are my favorite, but I have a ton of film cameras and I like to try them all out and stuff. So, yeah, so a Minolta XD11 is one of my favorite cameras, but the amount of like cameras I'll shoot, I like my Nikon F3. And so, where's my? Oh yeah, I'm in the wrong thing. Yeah, this is just the space in the front of the studio on the other side, so you could see just a little bit of the collection. Can you zoom in on these? That's again Mac OS. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, so you could see that, and that's not even the whole collection. That's like part of it. So that's just the stuff I have on display in the front. Jackson, you asked about did I post the movie to watch info as well? Yes, I put that in the Discord and I made a post on YouTube. So there is a post page on YouTube. If you go over there, if you're not in Discord, there's 4 movies. I could say them out loud. Where's my other? I thought I had other tabs open. No. There it is. View your channel. Yeah. Yeah, so the movies that me and Party Size will be talking about a week from Tuesday, not this Tuesday, are The Flying Scotsman, Hard Miles, Yowamushi Pedal, and Rad, which is the classic, which I've never seen. So TRS 80 Aviation said, yeah, TRS 80. Oh, what's up, Chris Amy? Said hello from Elora, Ontario, Canada. Just got home from a fatty ride. Nice. You said Apple IIc still have it. Yeah, we could. I did like early on. I liked apples because everyone had the 2E in my neighborhood except us. My parents didn't care about computers, so it took me forever to convince them to get us one, which would have been the Tandy. But yeah, we used Apple IIes in school. I learned how to program on Apple IIes when you'd make that little like rocket and have it take off and all that. So yeah, originally the first computers I ever worked on would have been Apples, and then as we got a little older, we had some PC labs. They were IBMs, like the old orange screen IBMs, if you remember those. Using DOS. Oh yeah, so you know what? That's right, because Windows, the early versions of Windows, like we're talking 3.1, 3.2, weren't powerful enough to play games within them. So you would exit out of Windows into DOS completely if you wanted to open up like Doom 3 or Doom 2 or anything like that, Wolfenstein and all of it. Javelin said your bike always gets punctures. Switch to tubeless. No, I am a tubeless advocate. I don't put it into. I don't deal with setting up my vintage bikes that way. But the two main bikes I ride all the time are tubeless. What's up, Michael? Yeah. So Michael was the 200th channel member, which I forgot, but I can make some more emojis for the streams now. That like brought up that and a couple other benefits. So Hanedo. I think you told me how to pronounce that before. Move from LA to San Diego and living out of a hotel. Have your bike, but can only do 150-mile ride a week due to hotel restraints. Huh. Still looking for a new good bike shop. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anything. Do I follow anyone in San Diego? I don't. Maybe someone else in here knows a good. How far behind am I in the chat? This is really like an old stream where I'm a million there. Yeah, double string week. This is like back in the day. Oh, Pudgy, yeah. What in the pandemic? Will this be a review stream up here? uh, did you click back that far into the channel? Yeah. I do solo streams every other week, aviation. So it's party size one week and me solo the next week. So should I put a mask on? It's such a great comment. Yeah, so it's every other week. If you didn't realize that, I stream solo one Tuesday and then do party size the next one. I've been talking by myself in front of this computer for 5 years. For me, I like doing it with someone else way better, as you could imagine. It's so much more fun to have a new perspective. I mean, so I like doing these where I just talk to the chat, but then I like the next week doing it where I have a conversation with my friend and we could do something a little different, more podcast like. But yeah, as party size or as Pudgy would remember, it was Tuesday and Thursday me solo for 2 years. So yeah, the flag, we don't know it. How far down can you see it? So it's just, we think it might just be like bunting. I got it from a friend who knows a ton of that stuff, and he has all vintage stuff. But it's blue, white, red, white, blue, and so, oh yeah, you can see it to the bottom. You just can't see the blue at the top, white and blue at the top. But he has like flags that don't have stars on them. He has flags that have like every different star count the U.S. has ever made. So he thinks it might have been more like, when you see an inauguration or something and they just have stuff like hanging like bunting. So yeah, it's really cool. It's all cloth, all sewn together by hand. But Heavy Lead Belly said, if you needed a rig for video photo editing, you would strongly consider a Mac, but you've been building PCs for gaming since the late 90s, and in that realm, PC does better. Though Windows 11 is ass. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think there's any. I mean, Mac is trying to get into like the gaming scene a little bit with their later versions of the M chips. I know because the ray tracing and all that stuff, which means nothing to me because I'm not a gamer, but I just watch the reviews as they come out. I'm a little bit of a tech nerd, if you haven't noticed. So, yeah. Sean asked, so a bike question. What's your favorite bike tire size and does it change with the season? No, more so with the bike. So I run my Gunner, which has the sweep bars, and I consider like an ATB, and I use it for some mountain biking, the kind of mountain biking we have around here with 55s. That has more clearance, but I haven't felt like I want to go up on that. So for that bike, I would say 55s are my favorite. And then my drop bar gravel bike is running 44s, and I ride that also as like an endurance road bike. So that's what I like. I really don't have a lot of desire to be on skinnier tires anymore. I ride the vintage bikes once in a while, but less and less because I would rather have, I'd just rather be on wider tires. I even did like a road century this summer I just took my gravel bike instead of a road bike. So no, it's not a Netherlands flag. No, the Netherlands wouldn't have that many stripes. Yeah, this is 5 stripes. The Netherlands wouldn't have 5 stripes, I don't think. Oh, you're a big Mamiya fan. Oh, you want to talk about some Mamiyas? I have 5 RZ67s here. So, and one has a phase 1 P25 back, which I think new was, I was in the tens of thousands of dollars, but it's from the photographer that I worked for. But yeah, when it comes to Mamiya stuff, especially the RZ stuff, I have a ton. And I do have a viewfinder that's an RB viewfinder, but he sold all the RBs before I knew him. So they were still shooting RZs with the digital back hooked up to a Mac, a desktop Mac on a desk here when I started working for him before I took it over and bought the place. But yeah, I did hook up the RZ to the P25 back again last winter and took some shots. The lenses are so awesome. Like there's no color fringing, no chromatic aberration, but I haven't messed with it as much as I wanted to. But Darren said started on a Pentax K1000. A lot of people did. My Pentax K1000, I probably put about 10, 15 rolls through. It was actually one of my buddies, his mom's. So when she passed away, he gave it to me. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, I'm never going to shoot a film camera. He was like, it's going to sit on my shelf. If you'll shoot it, here it is. So 1968 Nikon F. Yeah, so the SLRs they used here were Nikons, and the bigger medium format cameras were RZs. So there's a lot of Nikon stuff here, Plofmaster. So there's a couple Fs, there's a couple F2s. I have a busted F3 that I was so sad when it broke, but Dave, who helps me out with the streams downstairs, someone at his mom's church gave a box of cameras, and there was an F2, an FTN, and an F3 in there. So I'm really stoked to shoot the F3 again. I think the F3 is the best manual focus SLR ever made. And I'm a Canon guy, but back when it came to analog stuff, Nikon was king, I think. Yeah, so I have a lot of Nikon lenses, a lot of Nikon pieces and parts. So, yeah, like I said too, if you guys are interested in coming out for the channel meetup, if anyone's close, the Friday would be the camera nerd night. Saturday, we'll still have some time to hang out here. I'll have the studio open like an hour before we take off. So if anyone wants to see cameras and nerd out about cameras, we did last year for a bit too. Aviation, yeah, I know it got cold in Tampa right when we left. We were there at the perfect time. Thrifty Frame Builder, you asked, did my sub count take a hit after the Preddy video? Yeah, it went down by about, so in like just straight numbers, it's lost about only 30, but it's lost more than that because I've watched it like on the way down go up and down. So it's probably lost closer to 100, but I've probably gained, 70. So it's a net loss, I guess, of 30. But yeah, it's actually a bigger loss than that. But again, who cares? The thing I love about this channel is community. So I don't know. If we're not on the same page on that, we're probably not going to be friends, right? Oh, you said it's been too cold to bike near Tampa. It's like 10 degrees outside right here right now. So yeah, your guys' cold is different than our cold. Do I know why Radio Shack went bankrupt? I don't. I can't remember. People stop buying Tandies. If you can't tow your bike, a car is pointless. You can't put your bike inside your Bronco? Hey, what's up, Danny Boyle? How's it going? Could have used that fat bike the last couple weeks. What's up, Alex? Randy Hale. Hey, what's up, Randy? You said you just purchased some TPU tubes and going to give them a go. I'll be interested to hear from everything. I guess I don't get the TPU thing. It's not hitting for me. I don't see where, I guess the people don't like the mess of tubeless, but I just reinventing the tube. It's not really where I want to go. But that's just me. Oh, wow, this continuity camera is, I'll throw this on real quick to show you guys around because it's killing my iPhone like really fast. Let's see if it works. Oh, yeah. So get our bearings here. So here you can see the flag a little better that it's, and I guess the mic is coming from the phone. Yeah, so you could hear me. So see what we got going on. couple. There's the Pentax K1000 right there. It actually makes no sense because the ones that say Asahi are not supposed to have a brown leatherette, and this one does. So I can't figure out exactly what year this K1000 is. This is one of my most beloved cameras too, the 5D Mark IV. Thought it was the perfect camera before mirrorless stuff came out, but yeah, those stay on this side. There's the Edmund. Just watch it. And so this side of the studio is where, well, this is my office, so I have a couch. That's where I watch my bike racing. But yeah, so do my product photography and stuff back here. There's no lights on and I can't see what's going on, so do this for a second. And then this is where the two buildings are combined. So this is a completely different building, and that's where I do the big stuff. I don't know if this will cut out. I'm just gonna try it, but this is the storefront with all the cameras where you get 30 feet out of Bluetooth, so. Yeah. So this is my old office. That's what used to be behind me on the streams, but it was all a wall of cameras, so. And then that basement door is where I stream from normally. And this is a completely separate basement because it's a different building. So that's where the wood shop, dark room, laundry room, and stuff are. All right, disconnect this so my phone doesn't die. Anyways. Where are we at? Bruce said, "Same here with the wider tires. Been loving your road bike on 45s. Nice, yeah." William asked if the photography business has a speciality. It's pretty much everything. So I just showed the studio. If that, I don't know if that stayed up. You'll have to let me know. But so I do obviously portraits and products here, but I shoot a ton of events. So no, not really. I just really don't do like weddings and all that unless it's for a friend. I don't advertise that stuff. And I will do senior portraits or family stuff too, but I don't advertise that either. So it's only if someone I know asks me. Yeah, I have two drones. I have the DJI for doing like more professional type work where I'm flying it very slow and cinematically. And then I've been using the Hover Air that they sent me like a month ago. It'll be in the video that's coming out on Monday, and I had a couple clips of it in the Florida video. It's kind of like a follow drone. You put it in your hand to let it take off, and it just follows you. So the DJI was not fun to shoot bike stuff for unless it was very intentional. Like if I was following other people riding. The cool thing about the new drone is you just let it go and it just follows you in whatever mode you have it in. So it's much more conducive for bike riding stuff. So I think there'll be more drone footage in my videos because, like I said, the DJI was pretty much just for professional work. My favorite Mamiya lens, to be honest, I haven't used them all enough to say I have a favorite. I basically just picked the focal length I need. I think almost all of them are f4s. It's so funny because, you know, just being here, it's something that I know is special, but that I haven't put enough intention into messing with. And it was last winter when I started to do that. And then I even rode my bike with it a couple times, but I just got into some other stuff and didn't really follow through. So I've grabbed them here and there, but yeah, there's a whole drawer over there full of Mamiya lenses for the RZ that I have not put enough time into. But that's kind of what's happened with this YouTube channel. It's taken over my hobby side of things. You know, it's like riding my bike and making videos and doing this has taken over for a lot of the hobby side of photography for me, where that used to, like for my, I don't know, most of my life, it was just all about cameras and photography. And this is kind of doing the video thing has kind of been a change. Yeah, and last winter I bought a large format camera, Darren, and that was one of my plans to teach myself large format. And then the weather got nice early, and then again, all my photography, like hobby stuff, kind of went by the wayside. And so now I've been slowly kind of working on the storefront and getting back into it a little more. But Aviation said 40 feels like death to me. I don't own long biking pants. Yeah, Florida problems. Yeah, 40. We're going to get 40 next week, and that is going to feel so warm here because it's just been brutal. So I don't
At
have my
Aviation
headphones on,
for
and
Life
something happened over here.
2035 became a member.
Thanks, Aviation. I appreciate it. I saw that little notification. I'm like, that's going to pop up. I forgot there's no, well, there are speakers on there's horrible speakers in the Mac Studio, but I always edit with headphones on. So downstairs, I have that stuff come through the speaker. But I appreciate it, truly. Chris, the get together is the weekend of March 20th. So photography, like an art opening, probably like 6 to question mark on the Friday. Saturday will be the channel meetup ride, which will probably roll from here a little after 3. Probably have the studio open starting at 2. And then Sunday will be the Otis Roubaix at Dirty River Bicycle Works, which is, I think, starts at 10 a.m. and is a hill climbing challenge. We climb all of the hills in Akron. Kind of like the thing Pittsburgh does with their main hills. What is it called? The 13 something, dirty 12, dirty dozen. But yeah, ours is like I think he gets like 40 miles and 4,000 feet, something like that. But yeah. And then there's an after party with the Otis Roubaix at Missing Falls Brewing, which is fun. We get the back room and everything and hang out. Heavy Lead Belly said you read on Reddit Radio Shack tried to pivot mainly to cell phones but failed miserably. I remember reading articles and even I think watched some YouTube videos about it, but now I've lost all that knowledge. Grumpy Edmund. Yeah. He's facing me at least now. But yeah, he's not. He's like, it's playtime. What are we doing? Naptown, like, yeah, carrying a TPU as a spare, I think makes a lot of sense because I carry a standard tube as a spare even on my tubeless bikes. So yeah, Thrifty Frame Builder. And I was talking to Aaron a little bit about this too, who posts videos from Columbus, Ohio. He was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't really expect that to happen." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm used to it. Anytime I bring up anything that ticks me off political, I lose followers, and it's like, oh well, whatever. I don't do this for a living. I wouldn't care even if I did. You know what I mean? That's not my personality to pull punches, even if I did. So, Naptown said, I would say that even if this works this seamlessly, that the new settings are just fine. Test successful. Yeah, I mean, I haven't had OBS because I have the chat in a different. Yeah, it's still showing that it's coming through really good. So, like I said, hopefully that works in the basement. If it doesn't on Monday, the next party size stream, I'll just do up here since that appears this works. The other reason I wanted to do this right at 9 o'clock again is because one of the things I read is one of my problems is probably network congested because I'm on cable, so it's Spectrum. And so the neighborhood node is probably overwhelmed because 9 o'clock is when everyone's streaming TV shows and cable. So oh, Danny, you said you might be going to North Carolina in a week or two. You'll drop it off then. Actually, I'm going to be out of town for one of the weeks in February, and next week's supposed to warm up, so the timing will probably fail. It's coming across like some of the bridges right now is horrible on my bike. We haven't even been riding that much outdoors, like me and my friends. There's just like nothing to do. We can't get anywhere. You can't ride the bike pass or anything. So yeah, I'll be curious. Like I said, Randy, about the TPU thing. I just haven't. I don't know. I've read like what people like about him, and to me, it's not resonating. So I'm gonna hold off on that. See what more people think about it. Oh, aviation! You said you love the hover air shots of those sweet red roads. Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah. So the video on Monday, we rode out. There's an inland lake in Akron. The Towpath Trail goes right by it, and it's frozen solid. So Ben and my buddy Michael went out and shoveled a path because there's so much snow on it. And I put the hover air up while we were riding across the frozen lake. Channel members have already seen that, or if they wanted to, they have. I put up like uncut clip of Ben riding around on it. So, hey, Matt in Chicago, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, Thursday's unusual. It's usually Tuesday at 9. So, yeah, the foul drones too. They're so small, so they're so easy to keep in your bag. That's one of the nice things about them. DJI makes one too. I haven't looked at their reviews because Hover reached out to me to send me one. I wasn't going to purchase one, but as soon as I was looking up like some how-to videos, like so many of the videos are comparing the DJI to the Hover. So the Hover's an 8K drone. I shot it the first time in 8K H.264, and I couldn't edit the footage. I even made proxies, and I could barely edit it. It like would not play. I mean, I got it into the video, but I don't know what's up. So this time I shot it in 4K HVEC, and then it edited smooth as butter. I didn't even need to make proxies. So I'm going to try 8K HVEC and see if I can edit that footage. It's weird because H.264 should edit easier than HVEC. For any of you know codec BS, I don't really completely understand it. I get compression and all that, but for what it's worth, it looked good in It looked good in just 4K. It matched easily with the GoPro footage. So I'm planning to do a little more with the 360 camera. The problem is with how cold it's been here, most of our rides that I've made videos of have been like 14 degrees. I haven't wanted to take the time to hook up the 360 camera the way I like it in case the battery doesn't hold up in those temperatures. Because I like the 360 camera to be mounted. And so if it's out there, like my GoPros, if they're just out there, will die also. So I keep the GoPros in like a back pocket or a bag with hand warmers. So when I'm not using it, because I don't mount them, so when I'm not using it, it won't die. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I haven't used the 360 camera much this winter, is because I just don't want to go out for a ride that I really want to capture and have it die. I need to take it out on a ride where it's just me. Like this weekend, if I just go for a solo ride, is what I should test it for that. So. Oh, this thing is scrolling so weird. Edmund's up. Edmund's up on my desk now. He's had enough. He's like, "You gonna play? Am I gonna ride up Cadillac Hill?" Yeah, we always do that on the Otisford Bay. But yeah, I've ridden up Cadillac Hill a number of times. I'm pretty good at it. I could usually make it up Cadillac Hill every time now. There were times where I would lose my balance and wasn't able to do it. But for those who don't know, super steep brick road in Akron, like crazy steep. Like the kind of steep where it's like if you're not balanced right, you'll either skid out or pick up your front wheel. So. Oh, Clunky, you said you learned on a 4x5 camera after previously only using your folks' 35 millimeter Mamiya. Nice. Yeah, I learned on a Minolta XG1 in high school photography. And now I have like 10 because every time I get a box of cameras from someone, there's always a Minolta XG1 in it. Are you really going to jump up on the desk up here, Edmund? He's looking. He's like, right. He's got his face right there. Hey, bud. Come here. Say hi to everyone. Oh, did we get a little buffer? Did we lose our connection? Oh, we did. We finally dropped below the connection. It didn't drop any frames yet, though. Weird. It went into the yellow and red, but we didn't drop frames. Let me know if your stream is still strong. If your stream is still strong. If not, you might want to see a urologist. Oh, yeah, it did. It went down in quality a little bit. March 20. March 21st would be the meetup ride, but it's that whole weekend. Darren, you're saying putting on like an alt cycling or non-competitive vet in West Virginia? Yeah, we were talking about this on actually Tuesday with Party Size, that just the first year you plan something, just don't have any expectations for the first year. And then, second, third year, it's when you'll need volunteers and pick it up. But yeah, I think anywhere you do it, it would end up catching on. Are you going to let me hold you like this? You don't care? You want to talk? Tell them what you got to say. Give me the meows like you do at me. Here. That's pretty much his chair. I gotta clean it of cat. It's so hard to get the cat hair off it. Edmund reminds you of your old kitty bear. Oh, that's funny. My one buddy, Ryan Hugh, had a cat named Bear that looked just like Edmund. Yeah, he's all about the playing right now. LA pre-pandemic hill climbing challenge was called I Can't Feel My Legs Ride. Nice. Three streets top 3 streets on the top 10 steepest in North America. Nice. Yeah, Akron, one of the hills in Akron when they had streetcars here, it was this, at the time they put it in, which I think would have been the 20s, was the steepest streetcar hill in the country. I'm sure eventually San Francisco probably topped that or something, but yeah. What's up, Land Matt? Clunky, you said you switched from Butyl to TPU, but you switched the tires too, so you can't tell for sure. Yeah. Remember the Radio Shack flyers that came in the mail? I could picture the logo on those like mailers, but 8-cell gray plastic flashlight for free. I went through a lot of those lights. Huh, don't remember those. Battery of the month card? You know what's weird? And I know I could change it, um, but I never do, is how Macs and PCs natively, the scroll wheel goes in a different direction. So, so when I switch, I'm always like, for a second, what am I doing? Yeah, Donald, you're right. We'd all ride more if the bike trail sidewalks and shoulders. Shoulders are a big thing here in Akron that are snowed in. Trying to give Edmund some attention. Play with you right here. Oh, TPU for 26. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's making those. Like I said, I haven't looked into it that deeply. So it looks like the stream is back on track. Yeah, the quality is back up. Yeah. Yeah, Bruce, I kind of came up with a good for the 360 cam editing workflow that I liked. Basically, what I'd have is the 360 cam software open. And what I would do is I would keyframe the 360 clip and save it right away and then put it right into Premiere. And so I would edit back and forth. So I edit, usually my stories are about my bike ride, so they're 90%, 95% are edited very linear. So it'd be like I'd make the clip, put it in Premiere, go back to the other one, get the next clip, edit the 360 keyframes, drop it over into Premiere, and kind of go back and forth like that. It still added a whole layer of editing, and that's one of the reasons I didn't really want to or didn't want to own a 360 camera. Again, they sent me one, and so once I had it, I used it a few times, but it is a whole nother layer of editing. But it is pretty cool to have every angle you want. I also like having, like in certain situations, that angle of it looking back at me. I could really show the speed when we're riding off road sometimes. So, yeah, but switch tracks so fast there, Donald. I really do agree that we were talking about this at the Unity ride, that if it was just cold or if it was just really snowy, we would ride more. The fact that it's 14 degrees out and then there's not really anywhere to go is what it's the combination. So, oh, nice, Pudgy. You officially own the van as of this afternoon. Mobile shop adventure build begins now. Nice. You have 2 Polaroid instant cameras, Ricky. I can't count the numbers of Polaroids I have. I was scooping them up when people were throwing them away after Polaroid stopped making film. There was a gap there before the Impossible project brought it back, which is now just they bought the logo and trademark or the trademark back from. Polaroid or from Polaroid. So yeah, in that gap era, I was going to thrift stores and just buying like all the 600 Polaroid cameras. Yeah, I have 5 SX70s. I have probably 15 600 series. I have the one that the old Instagram logo was based on. Yeah, tons of them. Greg, stream has been excellent. Yeah, I'm so glad. Uh, the latency you're seeing between what I read in the chat is just because I'm so far behind. The stream is actually not very far behind, which is surprising because it usually, as the stream goes on, that distance between what you're seeing and how live I am gets longer. I'm gonna just hold my hand up here for a second, then I'll be able to tell how much. I'll let you know how long the latency is. But yeah, so it's just I'm far behind on the chat. So yeah, the stream is only coming in about 25 seconds delayed. So yeah, I'm just not fast enough. Kodak disc cameras. That's one thing I don't have any. I don't think I have any Kodak disc cameras here. I have a lot of 110, those little pocket Kodak cameras, 126. But yeah, no, I don't think I have an actual disc camera here. I remember those. Yeah. Bob asked when the new Edmund sticker is coming out. So I just didn't get. I have it on my list to get like some more merch done, and I just haven't done it. So I actually was riding with Anthony from Canopy Press, who prints my stickers down in Florida, which was pretty cool. And I told him, I'm like, when we get back, I have a bunch of stuff to send to you to get printed, and I just haven't done it yet. So yeah, it'll just depend on when I get it to him and how busy he is. So. Dimitri, you've been hibernating. Yeah. Did we get a lot of snow? We got a lot of snow when I was in Florida, and it's just been so cold it hasn't melted. And then we've gotten like a couple flurries here and there, which is kind of nice because it keeps the snow from being that like gross, like slushy brown stuff at the side of the roads. But yeah, so it just keeps snowing. And we're about to get snow, I think, Friday and Saturday. It says 1 to 3 on each day, but there's a chance of it being a storm. So. Reed, you said you always turn off the native scroll direction because it screws you up. Yeah. Oh, you said it's Matland. I don't know why I agreed to this name on YouTube. Yeah, because YouTube went through like what is it, about a year ago where you were able to like use like more of a handle as your name, and I was like mine's just already just been Tim Fitzwater, so I'm not going to change it. So like even like the whole like so many people still say Fitzwater Cycles, but I've actually never had the YouTube channel named anything but Tim Fitzwater. What's up, Racer Boy? He said they do make TPU for 26. Nice. You said the city in LA passed a law that streets can't be that steep anymore. What do you mean? It's like if there's a hill, then you just can't. If it's steep, you just can't put a road on that hill. I mean, like the American with Disabilities Act makes it so you can't make sidewalks above a certain grade. But if a street needs to get up a hill, how do you? Oh, you have to put switchbacks in. Probably. That's probably what it is. Yeah, I'm lucky. So Ricky, I'm on state road. So now we're buffering. Well. Oh, now it just started fluctuating wildly. It went to the highest number of, what is that, kbps, kilobyte? What is that, kilobyte per second? But it still says 0 drop frames. That makes absolutely no sense. We talk about how good the stream has been and then it crashes. But it's really weird because the numbers are good and it says no drop frames. So I have no idea how that could happen. So. All right, see you later, Dimitri. I clicked on your name like I could pull up your thing, but I don't have that set up. Clunky, you said you worked at a photo lab that very rarely printed Kodak disc film, and it was always a pain to change the stuff out on the machine for that junk. Yeah, it was just, that's right, it's just 110 put into that circle disc, right? Uh, let me see. Allegre, Allegretto House said, "Sorry if I already covered this, but how are you keeping your feet warm riding this winter?" I always make the joke that I don't. I always feel like I only have an hour of riding once it's below 20. I just bought some Vans MTEs, and I bought them a half size bigger, so I have more room for socks in it. So that's I've only done the Aux Pretty ride, and I did one other ride with them on. So I haven't really been out on a long enough ride to know how they will hold up to keep my feet warmer with a couple pairs of wool socks yet. Uh, Usually I have like an hour or two, and then my feet just end up getting cold. But Chris, you said you used to make awnings and signs across Canada for Kodak stores. Oh, cool. I had a friend give me my favorite thing. It's hanging in the window of the studio. It's a "Leave Kodak Film Here" porcelain painted sign. So it's funny. I get calls once in a while. They're like, "Hey, are you open?" And I'm like, I finally got a vintage "Sorry, we're closed" sign, so people stopped asking me that. But it's one of the goals to be able to do that kind of stuff. What else did I miss? What time is it? I was going to do about an hour. Oh, it's a little after 10 already. Yeah. Let me know if you guys have any last questions we could chat. Oh, I did have. What did I write down besides? Oh, channel meetup. I wanted to talk about that, so I did. I had flying written down in case it was a Thursday and it was a slow stream because that's what the last video was about. The World Bicycle Relief shirt from Donald. Uh, oh, I did write down the Olympics, even though it's Winter Olympics. I was like, if no one's talking, if we nerded out about cameras and computers, but I am an Olympics nerd. I grew up with the Olympics and I love the Olympics. So I just bought Peacock for the month so I could watch curling. I love curling. And yeah, Winter Olympics have always been one of my favorite things. And so I'm stoked on it. Let me know if you guys care about that. I love watching the opening ceremonies, just seeing how weird those are. Chris said, "Tim, do we have any groomed snow trails there?" There is one at Punderson Park. I'm trying to think of how far of a drive that is. I've never actually driven there. I've ridden my bike there, and that takes like 4 hours. But yes, but I've never ridden it because I don't have a fat bike. You have to have a fat bike to ride the groomed trails. So Brooklyn, Ohio. Brooklyn, Ohio has all the Cleveland Metro Park trails, like everywhere. Because I rode through Brooklyn on the Metro Park trails last summer. I don't, off the top of my head, I do not go to Google Maps, put in your house, switch Google Maps to bike directions, like where you could switch between like the satellite view and the terrain view and all that, and you'll see them all. It'll be the green lines. That's the best way, honestly, to look it up. Also, go to Cleveland Metro Park's website. But yeah, there's trails that go right through Brooklyn. We stopped at a coffee shop in Brooklyn while we were riding the bike trails. Thought there was a hair on your screen. Nope, you still got the Christmas lights up. I always take, so I even made a video where I was talking about that. I always take down all the Christmas stuff like on New Year's. And this year I did it on the 2nd. And like, and all this stuff, especially in where I showed the storefront. Like, I don't like seeing Christmas stuff after New Year's. But these old like outdoor kinds, like they kind of remind me of like when you're in like Mexico and there's a market and they're hanging. So they're only here in my studio, and I only turn them on once in a while. It's like late at night if I'm just having a beer and watching TV. I like just to have those lights on. But yeah, that is true. But I have like a on where you can see the one table behind me with the photography books. There I have like a Christmas tree usually and stuff. So I still took all my ornaments and all that kind of stuff down. But ski jumping blows my mind. Like, I need to watch a deep dive into the physics of that because the long ski jumps is insane. Ricky, oh, are you talking about getting flat pedals? Are you going to bleed using these pedals? You know, Otis, when I first got flat pedals with pins, Otis, who owns Dirty River, he was like, "Man, you ride your bike like on crazy stuff. You drink." I have rarely ever kicked the pedals around and hit my shin in the decade I've been back into riding and always riding flat pedals. I never rode clipless, but I've never had an issue. So ski goggles to keep your face warm. Yeah, I know people. I've talked about this a bunch of times, but I don't like my face being covered. I always wear glasses in the winter. Like I don't need glasses. I just wear clear, like they look like Ray-Bans. Gooder is the brand I use. But and for anyone new, I'm just playing with the cat down here, by the way. Yeah, I don't like having my face covered at all. I'll do a buff. Like Donald sent me a merino wool one, and when it's really cold, I might do that for a bit. But after besides the glasses. But a bunch of my friends, you'll even see in the video is coming out on Monday, who do wear them. So good night, Darren. If I didn't miss you, so. Oh, Chris, you said you have some old signs floating around. I would pay the shipping for sure. I'd pay money for them. So, Alex, you said they need to bring downhill fat biking to the Winter Olympics. I don't know if you saw a couple for the last 3 or 4 years. They've been doing a cyclocross race on snow, and that was kind of the goal, was to try and get cyclocross into the Winter Olympics, because it is a winter sport. They just had the World Championships last weekend, which would be pretty sweet. But 1 hour from Highland Square and Akron to Punderson. Okay. And I'm a little closer because I'm a little farther north, right? Well, Punderson's northeast, so probably just a few minutes closer. Allegretto House said, I'm excited to watch Alyssa Liu, the figure skater who retired at 16 but is back on her own terms. Nice. I haven't followed any of the lead up because I don't have normal TV. So usually, like when I lived at home and stuff, like they would have the national champs, and I was more tuned in, which was building up to the Olympics. This year, besides stories that have broken into the mainstream, I really don't know what's going on. I mean, I obviously saw Lindsey Vonn is back, but beyond that, I really don't have a lot of knowledge leading into the Olympics. But it's good because NBC always does the little stories going back and giving you the background. Oh, you said you ride skinny and fatties on the groomed trails here. Oh, yeah, most like Ohio and Michigan, you're not allowed to do that. So, the mountain bike park in Medina, which I have not gone to, and we talk about it every summer, is called. It might come to me. I have never ridden those trails. Chris, you said you still have your tree up. Dumb said turn off all the multicolor lights, but leave the white ones up. Yeah, I see a number of people do that, and that doesn't bother me as much either. Like white lights in the snow look cool, but the color lights always remind me of Christmas. So. Yinzer, you're asking, would we fly with the bikes again? Yes, I would. The cost for us wasn't that bad because we rented them from Dirty River, which is like 50, and it was only 40 on United each way. So, what is that, 180? So not crazy. That's also flying to Florida, which is cheap to fly to. Yeah, and renting, like I said, renting is like definitely. We're renting bikes for a week when we go on our next trip because it's not a bike trip. So we want to be able to ride bikes around, and I want at least 1 or 2 days do a bike ride, but we're going for a wedding. So we just decided to rent, and we're going pretty far. I'll talk about it soon, exactly what's going on. I know I've mentioned it, but so we're just renting for that. But actually, for the whole week, our rented bikes will cost a little more than I think it would have to fly with ours, but then we don't have the hassle of flying with them. So. Bobsled. Yeah, I love bobsled, skeleton, luge. Yeah, I love Winter Olympics. I absolutely love downhill. The speeds they're going downhill skiing is absolutely insane. Obviously, snowboarding, growing up being a skateboarder. So, yeah, I think, Alex, I assume if you're in the U.S., we definitely associate cross with fall and mud. And it's still, I would still say rain and mud even in Europe, but it's much more of a, late fall winter sport in Europe, like at the top level. So let's see here. Look up Defiance, Ohio. I believe I've been to Defiance, Ohio. What were you saying about Defiance? Where's Google Maps? I don't want. Oh, Defiance is way out there. Maybe I haven't been there. I've been to Bryan because there's that brewery there in Bryan, in the old church. Not sure I've been to Defiance. Do I have bike lanes on? Yeah. What's the river? Agu. Huh, I don't even know that name of the river. Auges River? Yeah, maybe I haven't been in Defiance. Olympics started a couple weeks ago here. Nothing like Yinzers and cars on ice. Jason said, I don't fly very often. What is the viability cost of sharing a duffel for all your extra stuff on a trip? It's all about the size, man. Size and weight. So, but I mean, like, when I fly, I rarely ever check a bag. I'm usually going for work and I don't let, obviously, my camera stuff's not leaving me. And I rarely ever check a bag. I usually get away with the carry on and the personal item. So I can't even tell you the cost of like, well, I can tell you United normal check bags are $40 because that's all they charge for the bike bag. So they charge just carry on prices on United, but every airline is different. That's the thing. Oh, Defiance has some bike trails. Nothing showing up on Google Maps. That doesn't mean it, it just means that's usually bike pass. Oh, the Maumee River goes in there and splits. Okay. That's why I've looked it up. I've looked at the potential for doing a route following farther down there and then reconnecting with some of the places we've ridden before. But there's a chance I've stopped there coming from somewhere else, but I have not ridden through there. Columbus has a bunch of bike trails. Yeah, Columbus has at least 3. I'll see you later, Matt. Hey, David, you said if me and Aaron are coming to southern Arizona, we could borrow bikes from your wife and you. Thanks, I appreciate the offer. Actually, a bunch of my friends are heading to Tucson in April. They're all planning to fly with their bikes. I'm invited and I have a place to stay. It's just, we just did this last trip and we have another big one coming up, so I need to wait and see what the money situation is. And then I'm also doing the Gunk's Not Dead event in April as well. So I'm a freelancer. I've got to be here to work sometimes, or I go broke. Yeah. Would like to get out to that Arizona trip. My buddy bought a house out there that he's going to use as like he loves Tucson, so when he wants to go out there, he'll be able to use it, but then he'll rent it as an Airbnb to have it as an investment property as well. So hopefully eventually. So yeah, Ricky, in the summer and fall, spring, I ride through Waterworks 3 times a week because there's off-road trails out there, but I use that to get to the hike and bike and out to Kent all the time. So yeah, I take the Arboretum Trail to get up through there. So, Aviation said the desert in bloom and spring is not a thing to skip. Yeah, I have not in my life been out there that much. I did an awesome work trip out there where I got to see a lot of it. And then I drove out to Vegas when I was younger with a friend, and we stopped at like different spots. But oh, David said, hit me up if you're coming out. Yeah, for sure. All right, going to wrap it up here. Already went longer than I intended, but yeah, I'm glad that this seems to work. So on Tuesday, it'll just be me solo again, and we will try these settings on the basement computer, and hopefully we have solved the stream latents or the stream buffering issues. I sure hope so. Yeah, basically it's Spectrum that sucks, and so we need to work around it. But yeah, appreciate you guys all. Thanks for everyone who's upgraded to being channel members, but even just everyone hanging out. It's always fun. And I will see you in the next one.
See myself on your YouTube.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is not.
Fitzwater photo.